It's the main event of the weekend here at Croft Circuit, the TTDI Club Enduro Championship Round 1, and it's the longest race of the season as well, at 150 minutes in length. The cars are coming up to the grid for this long race, and let's have a look at the order in which they're going to start. I'll give you the starting drivers as we go along as well. On pole position, it's the number 4 car. That's going to be started by Joel Oswick. Besides him is number 1, which is Scott Parkin, who's driving solo. The second row, number 90, is being started by Alan Henderson, and number 6 is the car that is going to be started by Dylan Brichter. We're looking ahead to a 150-minute race here with 2 mandatory 3-minute pit stops. And it's going to be a fascinating 2.5 hours, I think. The safety car is pulling in, and the cars are about to thunder into life here at Croft Circuit for the opening round of the 2024 TTDI Club Enduro Championship. They're heading towards the line where the lights go out and the race gets underway. And they head off down to Clervaux Corner. We've got the car of Scott Parkin on the outside line and Joel Oswick on the inside line, and immediately is Scott Parkin that sweeps around the outside at Clervaux Corner to take the lead of the race. There's the number 8 car, the Gulf Livery Ginetta of Tidmarsh, that started on pole position within Class B as well, so we'll watch out for the class battles as well during the course of this race, but it looks like they're all safely through the first couple of corners. Don't forget Kevin Clark has started from the pit lane in his M3 CSL after being found to be underweight after qualifying, so we'll watch him burn from the stern as the mid-pack heading down towards Tower Corner for the first time. And I think it's already a change for the lead in Class B, isn't it? It looks like Jonathan Packer a few cars ahead, possibly of the little Ginetta of Matthew Tidmarsh.
2 TCR cars side by side in the middle of the Jim Clark S's. That's very brave stuff. And yes, the VW Golf just behind them of Jonathan Packer. And they've got he's got one of the Class A cars for close company as well. So he has put a little bit of distance, I think, between himself and his nearest class rival in the very early stages of this race. But what great straight line performance from the Audi TT of Scott Parkin. That sequential gearbox, I'm sure, helping him drag clear of the BMW on the way into Clervaux. But we'll see how that progresses throughout the race. So there's a thunderous noise coming past the commentary box. There's a wonderful variety of different machines fly by. Scott Parkin's advantage is 1.5 seconds over Joel Oswick, who is starting the number 4 JC Racing machine. Confirmation over the timing line, Jonathan Packer is the new Class B leader, but he is got close company in the form of the 83 of Christopher Nyland, who started his Honda Civic Type R. That's the Motion Motorsport run car, which is directly behind him in 11th position overall. And then our Class C leader, which is in 20th position overall, but only by 0.7 of a second, which is the number 195 of Ash Moore.
As we go on board with Scott Parkin as he turns his way through Barcroft now to City, so it's a clear track ahead. That good start, 1.5 seconds in the lead at the end of the first lap. It's great to see this on-board footage, courtesy of the Darkside development team, who do a lot of great productions of their own, using that sequential box down through the gears. It's a 2-litre TDI engine, various modifications on his car as well to try and steal a march over his twin for the Ryan, who's not on track at the moment. It's Dylan Brichter who started the car, that's running in 4th position. Number 6, there's Scott out of that very tight hairpin at the final corner, and he accelerates away and he's continued to pull out more of a gap over Joel Oswick in 2nd place. What was 1.5 seconds is now 2.4.
I couldn't keep up with how fast that was. That was astonishing, and it was so effortless for him. Just one turn of the wheel and bang, it's gone straight in. The number 90 machine, it is the insert liveried Mazda MX-5 from AK Automotive that's closing in on Joel Oswick for 2nd place overall. That is currently being driven by Alan Henderson. It is the car's 2nd season of racing, and they're hoping to have worked on the reliability of that car a little bit. It has got a podium finish to its name at Silverstone last year, and if it can continue to run at pace, then we know it's a very quick car. Running in 3rd at the moment and closing in on Oswick.
Yeah, we just saw a glimpse of Dylan Brichter there in 4th place as well. Just you can see him in the background there. Down Bordet is in 5th, and a good scrap going on actually between Andy Schultz and was it Luke Browse, I think, who started the Cupra. Cupra TCR, the Stone Market class car, but look how close it is for a second and third position. New car this season, and a new team for Joel Oswick as well, sharing the driving with James Collins this season. I think Joel looking to be the quicker of the two drivers at this stage, but these fascinating to see. We've got three different types of car: the Audi TT, the BMW M3, and this much modified Mazda MX-5 Mark 1 in third position. Another sort of similar car to the lead car. The Audi TT in fourth, and then we've got the first of the Coopers. There's a few of those on track. Darren Ball, it is best of those at the moment in fifth position, and that time of course had a lot of success in Club Enduro over recent seasons as well, in the hands of the likes of Carl Swift and Rob Baker in a few seasons ago.
Those are the two Speed Tech cars, the 55 and the 10, the two BMWs at the head of this field that are contesting for 14th and 15th positions. The 55 is the M4 GT4 that used to belong to Century Motorsport, competed in British GT. That's Paul Simerson at the wheel, and then the number 10 being the M2, which is at the hand of Rob Fenwick. Fourth different car for him in as many years. But of course that is the combination that finished second in Class C yesterday with Andy Shepherd, and now stepping up to Class A.
It almost looks like those two sort of Class A cars are sort of holding up the 197 car, which is the Lotus Elise, started by Mike Sanford there. And you can see him sweeping through. He's was a regular in the championship last season. He was up a few times at the 750 Motor Club Awards, picking up variables, but he's going to lose out there to the BMW. That's Kevin Clark, isn't it? He's come through from the back of the grid, so he's made good progress up inside the top sort of 15 cars already. And the other car that's involved there is Steve Cheetham in the number 43 Porsche Boxster, the man from Manchester. He shared the box with Wayne Scofield this year, but look how Kevin Clark has just picked his way through that sort of quintet of cars very quickly.
Yeah, Clark's made up 5 or 6 positions on this lap alone. Yeah. That's incredible speed that he's showing in the 33 machine. And Fenwick getting up the inside of Simerson there, so the M2 passing the M4. The M2 is carrying a little bit of cosmetic damage on the right-hand side from Rob's first outing in the car at Donington a few weeks ago, which Andrew was quite keen to point out to me earlier. But yes, very much holding up that 197 by the looks of it, the Lotus.
Just looking at Kevin Clark's lap times, he does the 130.846 that time. Only really the top 6 sort of bettering those kind of speeds. And bear in mind that Kevin Clark is picking his way through traffic for an experienced driver. Just a number of categories, including the car champion and Euro cars, of course. Looking at a couple, or one of the Cupras there, and also the 78 car, which has been started by Matthew Stockford, I think, hasn't it? In the Audi RS3 LMS. Driver using hand controls in this car, I think, and he's sharing the car with his regular co-driver, the Team Dynamics boss, Alan James. But he's just in behind that number 82 car, which is Ben Williams at the wheel of it at the moment, 41-year-old real estate investment manager from London. Only his second season of racing in this Capture Motorsport TCR car, which is showing with Alako Engar this year, and some time F1000 racing.
Yeah, great mix. So like the Audi RS3 and the Seat Leon TCRs as well. Again, just the wonderful diversity, and then the chasing pack is the top 3 in Class B, who are right together, and that is Jonathan Packer in his 51 Golf, very closely followed by the 83 Christopher Nyland Honda Civic, being run by the Motion Motorsport team, and then third position in that class is the number 8 car of Tidmarsh and Webster, and that's the Flying Tangerine Genetta G40.
You see a few cars in the timing tab, or on the live timing if you're looking at that, showing the CC designation after the drivers' names, and that means Clubman Cup. That means they're eligible for the Clubman Cup award, which is for cars that were first manufactured before 2010 and also have a H pattern gearbox as well, so that's a separate award in addition to the overall prize for drivers possibly racing cars on a bit more of a budget. There was one car slow there, one of the Ginettas, wasn't it?
White one, and I can't quite make out the number on it, but it's the number 5 machine.
Daniel Gibson.
That's Dan Gibson. Now I was having a chat with Dan earlier. All 3 drivers aboard that car new to Croft and new to a lot of circuits, so they are largely competing in the Track Day Championship. Yeah, that doesn't look like the best of starts for them aboard their G40, unfortunately. Speaking of G40s, this number 8 machine in Class B looks probably the raciest of the 3 at the moment, but again, the performance characteristics of these 3 very different cars causing them to ebb and flow. And the Club and Championship that you mentioned, well, the second car in that queue, the 83, is leading that class, and that, of course, means he probably does lose a little bit on the straights while he's changing gear.
But I mean, really, it is a 3-car fight for the lead in Class B here, because you've got Packer, then you've got the 82 car there, which is started by 82. What number do I want to say? 83. Yeah, the Nylon Pussygill car.
You've got Clark just finding his way through there as well. He's come up to the back of them and just cleared the Ginetta, I think. So he's suddenly put his hands in amongst this Class B fight. Might disturb it a little bit.
He'll soon clear off though, I think, Kevin Clark from this. But yeah, you've got the Ginetta there as well, making it a 3-car battle for the lead. And I think Class B looking particularly competitive this season. With those 3 cars there, they're almost, there will be no to tell us. Well, again, Kevin Clark passes Jonathan Packer, which he does now have keeping well out of. Although Clark runs wide on the exit of the corner and is now going to do it all over again. He's going to have to repass those 3 cars, having done it once already. Now, whether that was a mistake or something broke, I'm not quite sure. But on the straight, he's able to very quickly pass 2 of them. Can't quite get past Jonathan Packer yet. But I think if anything, it's allowed the Ginetta of Titmarsh to get back on terms with the 83 car again, which has been started by Chris Nyland, regular in the Time Car Trophy in previous seasons.
Yes, the Motion Motorsport guys in both of the cars they're fielding, one in Class B, one in Class C, getting a lot of the Type R Trophy drivers in, aren't they, as Clark now clears the Class B leader, makes his way into 10th position overall, and so yeah, the Class B cars suddenly right back together again.
Yeah, they are indeed, and I think it also means that the Class A cars now completely dominate the top 10. Packer now shuffled back to 11th position by Kevin Clark.
The 197 Lotus Elise, sadly, now that was one we saw getting a little bit feisty, but by the looks of it, they are out of the race, sadly, after contact from the 43 machine, Steve Cheatham's Porsche Boxster. That's info from downstairs.
This is for position. Darren Ball up the inside of Dylan Brichter into Clervaux for the 9th time, but not quite close enough to be able to make that work. So a tiny little battle for 4th place here between the second of the Audis and the first of the Cupras. These two are about 11 seconds clear of the next car, which is Luke Browse in the bright green TCR. Still the fight for 2nd place going on as well. Only 6 tenths between Joel Oswick and Alan Henderson at the start of this lap.
Yeah, two really good battles here going on for 2nd and 4th. I see Dylan Brichter, he will hand over the car to Ryan Parkin, and Ryan managed to finish 3rd in the Road Sports race yesterday, which is the youngest sibling to the Tequila Club Enduro Championship. It was a mini endurance race at 45 minutes, and that was won by Scott Parkin yesterday. Always Dylan Brichter just dips 2 of those left-hand wheels on the Audi TT into the dirt on the exit of Sunny Out, and that does allow Darren Ball to just close in a little bit more in that TCR Seat. Close but no cigar just yet, but pretty close through the hairpin. Much wider line on the way in for the Seat, hoping to gain a little bit of momentum down the straight, where the Audi TT does seem to have quite good performance, as does the BMW in 2nd place, which was just pulling away from the Mazda MX-5, resisting its massively turbocharged 1800cc engine. So No changes just yet. They flick through the chicane once again. Coming down the straight. He's actually pulling out a little bit more an advantage now, isn't he, Dylan Brichter?
That's right, long-time racer, often with the Darkside team.
Well, they've won the Spa race in Class A together last year, didn't they? And they've sort of split road sports between them in recent times as well. So when Dylan was in the car at Brands Hatch GP meeting, that's when he last won in the road sport.
Speaking of Brands Hatch GP, that's where the next round of this championship is going to be. This is no Spa trip this year for Club Enduro, but 75-minute race at Brands Hatch. Next time out, still the battle for second hasn't sort of been resolved either, has it? Because still Joel Oswick and Alan Henderson doing battle there. The Gibson Ginetta is just being lapped by Dylan Brichter and Darren Ball there as well, and very much into the traffic already as we're now 15 minutes into this race. Leading cars, the best lap of the race, 1:27.264 for Scott Parkin, and cars at the back of the field are lapping in sort of mid to high 140s in some cases. So there is quite a disparity of lap times from front back, maybe up to as much as 15 or 20 seconds. So we've had 15 minutes of this race. Pit stop window not open until 30 minutes into the race, but you then do have to have 2 3-minute pit stops for each team. You have to change drivers both times because obviously some teams only have 2, or some only have 1 driver, but a handful have 3. Kevin Clark hasn't actually done the best lap of the race there, although that's what it says on our time screen. That is still with Scott Parker, but Clark is up another place now. He's into 8th position overall. He's got better of Ben Williams on that last lap.
It was a personal best, and it was the fastest of anybody on the last lap, though, including 1 second quicker than our race leader Scott Parkin. Although I think he's dealing with a fair bit more traffic than Clark at this stage, who has found himself a relative bit of clear air. So he's going to come onto the back of Andy Schultz's BMW M2 pretty shortly, probably on this lap, I would have thought. There is our race leader, the number 1 car. You get a visual representation of his advantage there, and we have a change for the lead in Class B. Jonathan Packer has had to submit to the 78 machine, isn't it?
83 of Chris Nyland.
83, sorry.
Yeah, and he's got Matthew Titmarsh in the Flying Tangerine Ginetta all over the back of him as well. Still very much a 3-car fight for the lead. Within Class B, though, they're turning their way through complex now towards the left-hand hairpin. Pretty much nose-tail as they have been all the way through. Trace massively on 2 wheels there was the class leader. I thought for a moment the car was going to roll over. I'm not quite sure how he got quite that much room. He must have just clipped the curb on the exit of the hairpin, but that's cost him. And oh, it has cost him because, well, it's a much more serious issue. The engine has blown up or something has happened there, and Christophe is going to have to pull off onto the side of the circuit, and there's a lot of smoke there coming out of the back of that car all of a sudden. Now, whether that was connected with the incident he just had, I don't know. But the class leader, as he was very briefly, is out of the race. Chris Nyland in the number 83 Class B Honda Civic Type R is out of the race. He's pulled off, and as quickly as it appeared, the smoke has disappeared. Amazing.
That's a spectacular blow-up, wasn't it? I haven't seen anything quite like that in a while. So our Class B lead has been whittled back down to 2 contenders for now, Jonathan Packer and the number 8 Matthew Titmarsh's Ginetta G40, who are still going hammer and tongs. Wow, yeah, that could be a contender for the Aim Shop moment of the season, that one, couldn't it?
It could. It was certainly
about 2 this weekend.
Very spectacular. Yeah, Aim Shop, who are supporters of the live stream, are giving an award for the moment of the year, however that may be defined, on any of the live streamed events during the course of the year. We had a good contender at Donington Park where we had Eddie Moyer in the Mazda 7 race have what can only be described as a huge strop after he ended up in the gravel trap at Redgate Corner. So we enjoyed that. So that was an early contender, but we have had others from this weekend, including that dramatic moment, which I think has resulted in quite a bit of through possibly on the circuit. I did see the slippery surface flag being prepared there. by the marshals in the background. But actually, yeah, they've withdrawn it again, so maybe
I was going to say,
so much fluid.
Didn't see any yellows there.
Yeah, well, the car's well off the circuit, isn't it? So that's out of the way.
Yeah.
Anyway, this is still the lead of Class B that's being disputed between number 51, Jonathan Packett, and 8, Matthew Tidmarsh. They're both just outside the top 10 overall. I should tell you a little bit in Class C, it's Lashmore that's leading the way there. Second is the car number 97, which was started by
David Connell,
wasn't it? And third within Class C is the Johnny Hayes, Paul Subiani BMW, which does have that damage earlier on.
That's Dan Gibson's number 5 machine there, just caught a glimpse of, which seems to have got back up to speed. We saw that moving quite slowly a little bit earlier on, but seems to be going again now.
Good to see the 55 car, which we referred to earlier, which is the Speed Tech Motorsport M4 GT4, the Eccentric Motorsport car. Paul Simerson, it is the 47-year-old from Leicester, the Ferrari Challenge racer that started this race, and a nasty accident at Spa last year when he broke his back, but good to see him back to fitness and guiding his co-driver to his race debut as well. What a is to make your race debut in. Meanwhile, this battle for second still going on. Joel Oswick unable to shrug off Alan Henderson. They're making their way through to City. Won that 14 of the race now, and pretty much this close all the way through. I don't think Henderson has managed to find a way through yet in that little Mazda MX-5 Mark 1, which is very much modified from standard. It's obviously got a hard top on, which we don't usually see MX-5s have for racing. It's got the massive ring on the back and the diffuser also at the rear of the car. So lots of work done to modify the aero in particular.
Looks more like a Pikes Peak car, doesn't it? Than a Mazda MX-5, but a little puff of smoke there. Looked like that came from the exhaust of the BMW rather than the tyre. But I'll tell you, Henderson's going to be able to draw a pretty detailed sketch of the back of that BMW by the end of this race. So much, such as his study of it. Now we have one of the cars in the pit lane before the pit window is open. It's the orange Porsche Boxster by the looks of it. It's at the 76, Michael Downey's car. So that was clearly for some sort of mechanical issue, because the pit window has not opened yet. So, but he's back out on track now. And, we can see the rest of the field back with that battle for second place. Still the AK Automotive Mazda chasing the JC Racing BMW. And yeah, this battle is not going to let up, is it? I guess what will be really fascinating to see is how this battle unfolds when the driver change happens. And we have two different drivers in both big cars, but they are now 11 seconds behind our race leader, Scott Parkin.
What we're not necessarily going to be aware of is actually who's in the car at any given time either, once we get past the opening pit stop, because we know we think we know who started the race. We've been given that information, but obviously, if you've got a three-car team, you can have a good bet that they're going to divide into thirds, so you don't know which the second driver will be necessarily. And for the cars with two drivers, are they going to do one stint and then the second driver double stints, or are they going to do it the other way round? Are they going to swap at each driver at each pit stop? A variety of different tactics that are available there. There's the Senna Osman E30 M3, which is fantastic. Yeah, that's probably the oldest car on the grid, I would think, in this race. Car from the 90s, or even late 80s potentially, I suppose. The E30 shape, which looks absolutely magnificent. It's fairly well down the order in 25th position. And there's the 316 car, which is the Ivor Mayer's car, which is sharing today.
Yeah, good to see that they managed to fix the damage from yesterday's Road Sports race. Right at the end of it, he came into pit lane with his front tyres pointing in two different directions, which is not what you want at all. And actually, when I saw it earlier, I didn't question whether it was going to be starting the race, but that's out in the invitational class for this round. And we also caught a glimpse there of the 160. The 169 Mazda MX-5 Matthew Simonite, which is the Class C car. And that is the P1 Fuels car run by JMS Racing. So that's the car that's run on synthetic fuels. And it's a good little experiment there, because still don't really see that much synthetic fuel used in Club Motorsport. And you know, the first first FIA World Championship to use it was actually the World Endurance, the World Rally Championship. They're now using it in like the World Endurance and a lot of GT racing as well.
And of course, we saw it used in the Armed Forces Race Challenge last year as well, where the RF Motorsport players were developing that and had success with that.
Actually, there was a really good video from was it Car Magazine? Yeah, it was. Yeah, James Dennison was racing that car at Donington, wasn't he? They made a video about it, which was quite interesting. But you can see it's got slightly more lucrative sponsorship on that car now.
Yeah, the 169, Matt Simonite is the owner of the car, which is being shared with James Mansell for this season. And Simonite has raced this, started out racing I think about 11 years ago in MX-5s. James Mansell has come into this from the Type R Trophy, also raced some Citroen C1s as well. So this is the battle position. It's for 23rd place, and Simonite is 5th within the class for these powerful cars, because the three classes are based on power to weight ratio.
Yeah, Class C being the 180 brake horsepower per tonne, compared to 240 for the Class B and 300 for the Class A cars. So that's where we get our differences in performance there. But yeah, as you said, James Mansell coming across from the Type R Trophy. He was 4th in the championship in 2022, so he knows how to turn a pedal. But Matthew also, he's just very versed in racing MX-5, because he's raced Mark 1s for many, many years, and then finally stepped into the Mark 3 last year in this championship with the P1 Racing Fuels partnership in that car.
Let's have a look at the 62 car there. That is the lead Andy Sadler BMW 3285, for some time Fiesta racer, and he is running in 22nd position at the moment. There's the number 66 car, that's the Hayes and Subiani car. It's Johnny Hayes at the wheel of that one at the moment, design engineer from Shrewsbury, who had a 20-year career in motorcycle enduro racing. And
right in between them was the Class B battle, not in the timing order, but just physically on track, as we've got the 51 and the 8 separated by not too much heading into Clairvaux. They're just rounding their way through the traffic. We can rejoin that battle now. It's been raging on all race long, and still very little separates the VW Golf from the Ginetta.
Worth giving a quick rundown on the race order before we get into the pit window. For those of you that are at the circuit and perhaps not looking at the live time, which is available via the 750 Motorsport website, 750mc.co.uk or tsl-timing.com. It's number 1, Scott Parkin, that leads the way by 10.6 seconds from number 4, Joel Oswick, in 2nd place. In 3rd place, number 90, Alan Henderson. 4th is number 16, Richter. 5th is number 25, Darren Ball. In 6th place is number 33, Kevin Clark. In 7th place, number 22, Luke Rouse. In 8th place, 82, Ben Williams. 9th is number 69, which is Andy Schultz, and rounding out the top 10 is number 78, which is Matthew Stockford. Class B, in 11th place overall, is number 51, Jonathan Packer, and Class C is being led at the moment in 18th place overall by number 195. That's the Honda Civic of Ash Moore, but there's still more than 2 hours of racing to go.
Certainly is. That's the 171 heading into Clairvaux, which is the Senna Osman BMW M3 in Class B.
Yeah, looks absolutely stunning, that car, which has been raced by the Osmonds for a little while, and they've occasionally appeared in the Burkett Relay as well. Just alongside the Michael Downey Porsche there, with the Michael Downey Porsche, which is just going down into Tower. That car, of course, was a pit visitor.
Yes, I think it's several laps down that car. Trying to find it. Yes, it is. It is last.
Yeah, 15 laps down.
Yeah, 15 laps down. 29 and last. Wow, you really did lose some contenders over there. I think we're supposed to have 34
Yeah, we had 32 qualify, I think, and we lost 3 or 4 before the start. Well, 3 before the start of the race, given we had 29 that started. We've lost already on a Puskil car, that was blown up, didn't see that again. Also into the pits, the Sanford Jude, Weston Taylor. Lotus as well, but that's retired, although they may get back out of this. Oh, and one car off the circuit there. That's the 97 car, one of the Class C frontrunners, Dave Connell, in his Mazda MX-5. He was almost taken to the Rallycross circuit there, but he's back on track now. Did lose a place though to actually a Class A car of Neil Higgins. So he's not lost any class position. Class C still being led by Ashmore, but he's lost a bit more time. He's about 41 seconds behind the class leader within Class C. And there's the Class B battle coming back towards Clermont.
Still nothing separating them, isn't there? Now this is one of the Seats. It's the Browse car, isn't it? Being shared by Luke and Paul, number 22 machine. It's just making its way through. Very, day-glow green, very easy to spot in amongst the pack. It's the Alfa Megas car making its way through. I think we have had a change for second place because the number 90 has just gone through on the timing order and trying to look for it out the commentary box window. They're coming through Hawthorne and into the chicane now as the pit window is now officially open, but Joel Oswick has lost second position overall to the number 90 of Alan Henderson. There we can see it on screen now. The Mazda is ahead of the BMW.
Well, it's taken half an hour, hasn't it, for that to happen, but finally he's gone through, and Oswick's defences have been breached, but that's just as you were saying, the pit stop window is now open. We've got cars making their way through towards Sully. There is the Darren Ball. He's still running in 5th place. He's got about 11 seconds in hand over Kevin Clark. He's been charging his way up the field and he's lapping faster than, well, everybody else at the moment, to be blunt with you. Kevin Clark is currently the fastest man on the circuit. He's not got the fastest lap made, despite what the caption says on screen, but he has... He's lapping faster than those at the moment. As into the pits comes our race leader, Scott Parkin. So right at the beginning of the pit window, as soon as he could get ahead of the pit stop, he's decided to do so. And he will have to be stationary for 3 minutes here. And 3 minutes is very roughly 2 laps. So it's a little bit more than 3 minutes by the time you've had the pit in and pit out with the speed limit of 50 kph in the pit lane.
I'm rather curious here because it says his last lap was a 26.554, yet his best lap on the timing screen is being highlighted as 27.2. Is that because he's come into the pit lane?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So not quite sure how he's managed to go faster in pit lane.
Just because of where the timing beacon timing line is in the pit lane to measure the pit stop, so it's a different thing that line crosses basically. Still most telling Class B, isn't it? Jonathan Packer and Matthew Tidmarsh. I wonder if either of these will just make a dive for the pits to try and break this scrap up a little bit. They're coming towards the complex now on the end of their 21st lap, these two. And Tidmarsh having a look up the inside of Packer into the hairpin. Is he going to get the lead of Class B? A much lower car, of course, than the Golf, who can probably barely see him out the window. And they are side by side. They're going to be pretty much neck and neck as they come across the line this time. Just have a gap. Look at the gap on the screen. It's 0.018 seconds between those two. But I think it is going to be the Golf, or is it going to be the Golf that has its nose in front into Clervaux? It is. But only, I think, because Tidmarsh was on the outside line there. But a great little scrap between these two, like it's a 10-lap sprint, not a 150-minute endurance race.
Well, Jonathan Packer is going to have to deal with this all race long because Matthew Tidmarsh is going to hand over the car to Chris Webster at some point, whereas Jonathan Packer is going to be doing 150 minutes solo, which I cannot imagine doing at all. That's a great physical demand that he's put on himself.
Yeah, not sure if picked up on it. The 97 car, which was the Dave Connell car, that went all over the grass. Tom's reported that's looking like there's a lot of grass in the front of that car.
Hood's off the number 1 Scott Parkin car. Not sure how standard that is to take the hood off in your
They-
3-minute pit stop.
I guess they just want to keep it as cool as they possibly can. don't
Maybe,
they?
but so that's an extra job they're giving themselves. They are putting it back on now. I suppose they do have the quick release pins on it, don't
Yeah,
they? So it's
yeah,
not a big job, is
Yeah.
it? No, okay. It looks fairly cool, calm, and
I
collected
think
down
they're
there.
very well organised, the Darkside team.
Well, that is true.
Yeah, Giles Greenbridge there with his stopwatch to ensure fair play in terms of the amount of time station. It has to be at least 3 minutes, and as the season goes on, there'll be penalties as well for drivers that have had success in previous rounds.
Oh, he's well.
Have a spin in the complex. They're just behind Did they come in before the safety car rules went out? Is the question. Any cars involved at all now. The recovery truck is on its way to collect. It's got parking space. It's Scott and his car. Just got past the system there. So it's fortunate for Scott. Let's head down to pit lane and we can hear from the Darkside Motorsport team at Thomas.
Luckily, we've still got Dylan and Ryan in the other car with the normal box in, so hopefully we can get both of those guys. Scott was so we were hopeful for today, but it's one of them things that's racing. It's a new thing for us this year. We're just about to box in that car, so what Scott's wanted to do with it. We're running quite a few, not experimental, but new parts to the car and the team on that one. So, it is one of the things that we've tried everything we can. We tried the pit stop just there to make sure it was good for Scott. So he got in the first out in the first lap, but unfortunately it's returned this time. Checking the linkage and stuff like that, just see if there's anything we could do in the pit stop. We still made the stop and check everything with the car. We still made the stop and so check on the cars. It's just one of the things that's racing. It's very unfortunate.
It is, but like I say, we've got one car left in the race now, and also still to go and check.
Yeah, that's right. It's a long season. We all know that, and anything can happen with these races, especially with the longer races today. So hopefully today we can get Ryan and Dylan up there, maybe even fight for the podium, and that would be a good result for the rest of the team and lift the race.
So behind safety car here off the circuit, just took a 3/4 now of this was the pit lane over temporary. Scott could do all the main champions. Quite comfortably before this pit stop, afraid of the race. But still hopeful of a good result for the sister car being driven by the Victor and later in this by Scott. So at the moment it's Alan Henderson leading the car from 90. It's 5 in second place. Third place. Second place car in Class B, 11 over Mark Bird, Class B, now 3, which is still shooting. Class C is the actual civic 5 second place, 7, that's the David Connor, that's the third, change is the Chris will just working away. Seems to work out, which is short to be clear for this
Yes, certainly hope so. The recovery truck making its way towards the end of outside of an Audi TT. He is. That's a sensational move by Kevin Clark, who now takes second position in this race. Or Victor Thorne is going to have a little look at the inside of the head. But this is a great ride by Kevin Clark. And the number 33, that BMW CSL, absolutely lightning fast. I think seventh time now, and going to keep it close on the ball. Obviously was putting a move on him, second slow in the race leader. Let's see what he can do in clean air.
Kevin's got lots of experience in this race. About 30 years ago, he was in
as they were looking at the gearbox. I hope there's not further issues on the AK Automotive Mazda MX-5. Kevin Clark going to stay out for another lap. The 90 is about to re-emerge onto the racetrack. So let's keep an eye out for John Osborne's BMW. As you see the Mazda travelling down pit lane at the moment. Yes, the BMW definitely isn't going to be within striking distance, is it? Because the Mazda is at the pit lane now, whereas the Jason Racing BMW is only just ahead. Yeah, so basically most of the it's got straight
seems to be intermittent or something, so they've asked me to put another transponder on there, so I don't know.
So nothing major, nothing to worry about?
No, nothing untoward as of yet. We've got a couple of vibrations, but I think it's just tyres out of balance now, stuff like that, so...
Will you change tyres on the second stop?
No, I don't think so. I mean, tyre wear's fine. I think it's probably just a tyre turn on the rim or something. Just a little bit of a vibration, but everything feels okay, so...
Great stuff, thank you very much for talking to us, Alan.
Into the second hour of the race now, so hearing about the transponder change on the number 90, and of course confirmation that Daniel Irving is now at the wheel of the AK Automotive Mazda MX-5, which is currently in 8th position, but is the actually the second car. So of the cars that have been into pit lane, the leading car is the number 25 of Darren Ball, which is, well, actually that is currently in pit lane, I should say. So we'll see in a few minutes whether that is going to be the top car. Clark has come into pit lane now. Kevin Clark, who was just leading this race, having started from the pit lane, so that promotes the number 6 Darkside Developments Audi TT into the overall lead of the race, yet to serve its stop, of course. Dylan Brechter on board that car. Of course, the Class A winners from Spa last year, and Dylan and Ryan Parkin splitting the honours for the road sports races. It was Ryan aboard the car yesterday when it finished third overall. Dylan last year winning at Brands Hatch GP, Ryan winning at Brands Hatch Indy, and also finishing third at Snetterton last year. But of course, Ryan now carrying the Parkin name of Darkside Developments as the number 78 car just rolled past me into pit lane as well, which is the Matthew Stockford Audi RS3, which I believe is making its first stop of the race as well. Yes, we'll keep a close eye on where Darren Ball and indeed Kevin Clark fall out in the mix of the, and I've just got word in my ear that Scott Parkin's #1 car has rejoined the race. There it is. So, wow. That's quite surprising to see. I mean, obviously I had outside assistance, but clearly they're allowed to rejoin the race, and frankly, it's amazing that they've got it going again, considering that car was stuck in reverse gear half an hour ago.
Yep, it's really a bit of an extended test session, isn't it, for this car, to see if they've managed to resolve the issue against
Yes.
Carly. But yeah, there'll be lots of lots to play for. We just need to check if they would be eligible to be classified or not.
Well, should we see how many laps down they are? They are 18 laps down on race leader Dylan Brichter. Because we do have into the pits. Actually, I don't know if it's already emerged. I can't quite tell if there's a BMW M3 shaped wing poking out the back there, if that's just some appendage on the building. It's not saying that it's currently in pit lane according to our timing screen, so we'll see where it's emerged relative to the number 90 AK Automotive Mazda MX-5 of Daniel Irving, who is now aboard that car, and confirmation as well, they changed the transponder. That's why the hood up was in the pit stop, because it's been intermittent. We've had several messages about from race control about that. I mean, you might have seen it dipping in and out of the timing tower, but they have now changed it aboard that car during that first pit stop.
Yep, so 80 minutes left. We're nearly halfway through this race now. Kevin Clark, you can see, is just coming out of the pit lane, just ahead actually of the number 4 car, the John Osborne James Collins car, and yet those two effectively are together on track for position 2 laps behind the leading car at the moment. We've just seen the sister TT of Scott Parkin, from Dr. Ryan Parkin car, which is still yet to make a stop. Only the first 4 cars on the timing tab yet to make their stop. That's the Dylan Brichter car, it's the Browers car, the Bevan car, and Jonathan Packer, who leads in Class B. They're the only drivers that have yet to make a stop of any one of great significance that I want to just try to pick up. I think one of them is retiring, so the other is Michael Dowd, who in any case is a long way down to his very early pit stop during the race. Two BMWs there getting together through the complex. That time second on is the number 55 car, which is the M4 GT4 for Simerson and Stanton. And they're chasing up the 69 car, which is the M2 of Andy Schultz and Houghton.
I'm just trying to keep an eye out for where also net race leaders might be. They're coming past us now. So Kevin Clark is ahead not only of James Collins, but also James Collins is ahead of Daniel Irving. So that's quite a significant change. They're coming out of the hairpin now as we see the Audi RS3 making its way out of pit lane. But they're just coming down the straight. So you see the Mazda is going to be the third of the sort of leading cars. And of the cars that have made their stop, Kevin Clark is the leader of them, from James Collins and then Daniel Irving.
Yeah, that's right. So a bit of a shake-up there amid the pit stops. That's not been plain sailing for the car that was leading on the road before those driver changes in the pit stops.
And there's only 2.5 seconds between them as well, which is quite surprising. So we'll see how that unfolds later in the race. They've also got they've got quite a significant gap to the car behind them, which I think 78 has only just emerged, so it would have been in the pits when the timing was updated. So next car I can tell would be the 69. Andy Schultz started that BMW M2. Not sure if Matt Hampson is now aboard that car. I would suspect so. But I think that would be the next car. In fact, yes, that's just been updated onto our timing screen. So that might be a net fourth, depending on where the Audi TT comes out.
Looks like the Daniel Irving was losing a bit of ground to the two BMWs out, which is possibly not too surprising. Alan, with the two drivers in that car, so maybe the next one just losing out a little bit to those two. Those 3 cars that mentioned 5th, 6th and 7th, but they're the first drivers to have made their stop. But it does look like Tim Marshall wants to come in for a second time, but that's possibly the second time, still a penalty. Because we did decide
Yes, that is a good point. I was wondering because they do have two on there, but it is likely that the second one was for the penalty.
Let's head down to the pit lane once again. Tom Butterworth is speaking to driver of Team 169.
Down in the pit lane with Matt Simonite, who's just got out of the 169. Matt, how's the race been going so far?
Yeah, we're a bit slow off the start. We lost a bit of time. Made it back up during the pit window. We stayed out a bit longer than everyone else. Got the lap times back where they need to be. Made a bit of time, but I think we're currently P2 or P3. If we can keep the pace going, James is a little bit quicker than me here, so we should be hopefully a podium.
Okay, well, you've got an interesting sponsor for this year on the car as well, which you're from Chesterfield, so I'm going to go with there being an air conditioning shop in Chesterfield. Yours your air conditioning shop, is that what it is?
Yeah, so they sell fans and other types of air conditioning.
Only fans, that's all they sell.
Yeah, that's it. So so the sponsor came across from Type R Trophy. So it's run James's Civic for 2 years with the OnlyFans sponsorship on. He's come to do a full season of this and brought the sponsorship over. We went a bit more bolder with it this year and went like a full livery. So they are the title sponsors. But yeah, we do get a lot of attention from it, which is pretty good. It helps the other sponsors because it draws the eye over them as well. So yeah, it's a good one. It gets the conversation started.
It certainly does. Great stuff, thanks very much. And you have a good run in the rest of the race. Are you getting back in?
Doing double stint this end bit.
Doing double stint now, great stuff. And who's your driver?
It's James Manson.
James Ransom, there we go. That's our chat with the 169, the OnlyFans car. That's all done and dusted. Thanks very much.
Thanks very much, Tom. We're exactly halfway through this race now. And there's the number 8 car, which I understand has just had a drama, Chris.
Yes, just had enough Sunny in we've been hearing in our ears, and of course that car has already been into pit lane twice, we believe once for a penalty, definitely has picked up a penalty, we believe it served it, so it's not been really smooth running for the Tidmarsh Webster Flying Tangerine Racing Ginetta G40. Bearing in mind that car was for so long in this race on the back of Jonathan Packer for the lead in Class B.
That's right. So it's all sort of falling apart a little bit for them. And obviously in the early stage of this race, we also lost their early Class B leader, which was the Chris Nolan Honda Civic as well. So it's all sort of opened up for Jonathan Packer here to have an uncontested win maybe in Class B. He's still got both of his pit stops there. He's got an hour left to do it, 49 minutes left to do it. He's going to do it for the last 15 minutes of the race. Ben Williams is just coming in, one of the 4 front runners yet to have made his pit stop, so he is going to come into pit and will either stay in the car for us or hand over to Bayang. It might be though, that has been part of the race and driving equally with driver change there.
Yeah, I mean, in theory, you could do your pit stops on back-to-back laps, couldn't you? Just whether you've got the fuel to actually be able to make that happen.
Well, if you've got halfway into the race, you should be able to go the same distance.
Yes, that is very true. In theory. So this, the Ginetta G40, I believe the car in front of it was actually full position. It was the Lotus. Yes, it was. They're only half a second at the timing line last time around. That is not necessarily for class position because the Lotus is Class A, Ginetta was Class B, but that was for 15th and 16th position. Overall, as we can see, the Capture Motorsport crew at work here in the pit lane.
Yeah, now just getting the fuel into the car. You can see the precautions that have to be made. Extinguisher has to be. Is that Dylan Crichton that's just come into the pits? Was that Scott Parkin? There's an Audi TT that's just an input. Maybe it was Parkin. It's not Brichter. It is Scott Parkin. So Brichter's still out there on the circuit. And yeah, you can see, as we said, it's an extended session. He's sort of flapping the.
That was a very... No, I know they like flappy paddle gearboxes, but that's not quite the flappy paddle thereafter. It looks like the gearbox completely given up. I've never seen a gear stick move like that before.
Yeah, it's all very wobbly, isn't it? There's the Tidmarsh and Webster Gillette again. You can see it's got some tape on the one. Some been practical at some point as well. That's just defined on the road for number 97. Connell. Well, that's actually for position as well. Again, not for class position. Connell and Wilkinson Hughes in that number 97. That's the one currently second in Class C behind the Sam Denison H4 car. Will be quite some distance behind, so Ginetta should get through. It's a class above, literally Class B compared to Class C, and make sure that Black Bike goes up to what I think is now 14th position. And you just see the Lotus behind as well of Neil Wiggins and Lloyd Higgins. Lloyd Higgins, we've seen him last time before. Neil Wiggins' father has raced all kinds of cars.
Yeah, that was the car that the number 8 Ginetta was fighting just a lap ago, but has now moved its way through into 14th position overall. But actually, despite the problems, still running third in class, and 42 seconds behind the cheating Schofield Porsche Boxer in his second in class, and the next car up the road for position as well. As into the pits comes the number 90 Mazda MX-5 for its second stop now, but it is moving a little more slowly than I would have expected.
When we heard from Alan Henderson, did they give a hint as to who's going to drive the last stint? I missed that hint.
I don't think they did. I know it's Daniel Irving at the wheel of the car at the moment, but
he was going to do a Middleton and Henderson was going to get it at the end.
Alan
says this is not scheduled.
I can see Alan from the commentary box window assessing the car, but he isn't race ready. He hasn't got his helmet on or anything. It looks like our camera guy's there, so we might get the pictures very shortly. But this does not look scheduled for the AK Automotive team.
It doesn't. Meanwhile, looking at Jonathan Packer, who still leads in Class B on screen, or is actually third overall. There is the work going on. The screwdriver.
That's not the transponder, is it? Which is the one thing they changed on the pit stop. So it looks like a more serious issue that has caused the hood to go up.
Good route as well.
Well, I hope either Daniel will take this car to the end of the race, or maybe Alan will get ready and get aboard it, because they may as well do their second stop now, as is the JC Racing BMW E46 of James Collins and Joel Oswick, which has come in for its second stop.
Yeah, confirmation of snap linkage on the Scott Park car, which is now done for the day. We'll see if we figure out who's getting into car number 4 then, if there is a change for that car for the final stint. But it's Joel James Collins in the final stint.
Daniel Irving about to head back out onto the track, so whatever issue there was under the hood of that Mazda MX-5, it looks like they hope they resolved it, and it is definitely Daniel Irving still aboard that car.
It is, but it wasn't a 3-minute stop, so they're going to have to make another one.
You've done very well if you managed to time that, because I've lost complete track of time.
I don't think that was the...
Well, they may as well have kept it in there, surely.
So it felt like less than 3 to me anyway.
Well, okay, we'll see. If it was like bang on 3 minutes...
Let's see if we can work out who's going to be in this car for the final stint.
There's a driver change happening, that's for sure. We didn't know who was in.
Refueling going on. We'll see if Tom, hopefully, he'll be able to find out who it is even going to be in that car for the final stint. He can get down there to the BMW. There's Tom not too far away.
Side profiles. I was speaking to them earlier. There's been James on the right hand side. I was James Collins in the car.
Right, so it's John Oswick now.
So it is Joel Oswick now, I would have thought.
Fourth final stint in this race.
Yes, that's yeah. I can almost hear his Scottish tones through the camera.
That's right. There's just over an hour to go to John Oswick back in the car. Final stint. 68 minutes to go. It's a 3-minute stop to 8. There's time to play with.
This is fascinating to me, and it really is how they coordinate and work to time.
Do you think they rehearse this? Do you think
I think they should.
Yeah.
But let me tell you, I've worked with professional race teams who haven't practiced their pit stops, and then are suddenly surprised when their pit stop is 1 minute and 30 seconds longer than everyone else's.
Yeah, well, there guys. Yeah, really thinking through before we start. So, right.
still waiting for our race-leading Audi TT to come into the pits. Jonathan Packer is now in pit lane from the Class B lead and third overall. This is his first stop, so we are just left with the top two, which is Dylan Britta Audi and the Luke Paul Browse set Leon number 22, which is Luke Browse just come in. So that was good timing there. So now we are just waiting for the Darkside Audi to come into the pits, as looks like Joel Oswick is about to head back out to track. He's been pushed out. See him a bit late now. And he's going to rejoin. So it's kind of the first of the, well, actually the second of the front runners to make their second stop. Let's see where he comes out relative to Daniel Irving, which has been into the pits for a second time, but well, if your map is corrected, it will need to come in again to fulfill the requirement of a second 3-minute pit stop.
Or they can take the penalty.
They could, but the penalty's got to be bigger than 3 minutes, isn't it? So.
Yeah, I need to check the notes to see what it is. But it would be based on how short they stopped and a bit more.
Oh yeah, so they don't
might not be as bad as taking the full.
No, that's true. Generally, with short pit stops, they tend to just double how much you missed it by. That seems to be the general rule of thumb in some of the other series that I've been seeing. But we can see Joel Oswick back out on track here, and I think he has come out behind the Mazda MX-5 that he was battling with, which is surprising because he was ahead of it when he came into, when they both came in to the pits. But maybe we'll see a little bit later how that shakes out. Might come out quite far behind, actually, which would rather back up your theory, Ian, of the Mazda doing a short stop. But we'll get confirmed when it gets over the timing line in a few seconds' time, just how far behind the Mazda is. And he is a good 50 odd seconds, 55 seconds maybe even, behind the Henderson Irving Mazda. And bear in mind, Jeff Jones was ahead of that car when they both came into the pits. Like he can run forever.
Well, I'm quite impressed. It's gone for an hour and 26 minutes. We have a little bit of safety car running in that. Surely it's got to be bound for a bit late soon, but not this lap. Complex once again being passed by Kevin Clark, who unlaps himself effectively once. No, so he was 2 laps behind. Now 1/900th behind at the moment. But of course has made a stop, one of his 2 stops already. And then 39 is going for the ex-Proton Coupe Cup as well as a Proton 1 Championship briefly a decade or so ago.
Coming up to the final hour of this race very shortly. The way it is panning out at the moment is we're actually still waiting to see where the Browse car comes out in relation to everything, and it's like it knows I'm talking about it. It's the second time that managed to have that car come out when I mentioned it.
By the medium of mine, I think that Tom Butler has managed to convey that it's raining. I think that's what he was saying.
Okay.
But yes, there are rain spots at the commentary box window. Not many of them, granted.
A few.
They are there.
Very light, thin smatterings against the glass. And well, I'll tell you what, this has been a threat all weekend long. I've seen about 20 different weather reports for this weekend. Some of them included rain. Some of them said it was going to be dry all the way through. Some of them said it was going to be an absolute washout.
It doesn't feel, looking at the skies, like this is going to be very much rain.
No, it's overcast, don't get me wrong, but they don't look like the most ominous clouds I've ever seen. Actually, you could see it on the camera there. There was a visible. Into the pits has come the number 6 Audi TT, our race leader, finally, after an hour and a half almost of running, has come in to make his first stop. So we're going to be interested to see where he comes out in relation to the rest of the field, because it looks like we're finally going to get some sort of order in the next 2 laps, we'll be able to give you a fairly definitive order, minus the 2 cars that have served their second stops.
Joel Oswick has just done the best lap of the race, 126.732 on what would have been one of his first laps back out of the pits, won't it?
Yeah, it must have been the first flying one, because he's just come across the line again with the 28.3.
Yeah, so he's certainly got in the car and immediately gone very quickly, and we'll see how all of this shakes out. Having made 2 stops, the only car that... Well, you've got the Moore and Dennis car. Now, that must have served some kind of penalty, because that's now made 2 stops as well.
I think it's currently in the pits.
Is it in the pit lane?
Is it not? I believe it is. Because,
I can see
it. So
the rear end of a Civic.
Yeah. And I mean, that is the Class C leader.
Okay, so that should drop down
as well. So it will drop down. Yeah. The closest car really that's made its second stop is the number 90 Mazda that we were talking about. And yeah, we still don't quite think that that's made a legal stop. But great pace from the JC Racing car. All calm at Darkside, which it has not been in this race so far on the other side of the garage, so to speak.
No, well it is now because the car's retired from the race, so there's not much more they can do. But yeah, it's going to be Ryan Parker getting in for the final hour of the race, taking over from Dylan Richter, just getting the car on the jacks. It looks like they're changing a wheel. Maybe you can see the treaded tyres that they run on in Club Enduro, so no slips or anything like that. I think that's steam rather than anything else that's coming out of the engine bay.
Must be so annoying trying to change tyre while the car is moving up on the jacks, because they don't go up evenly. It goes up one side, then the other. But that'll be Ryan Parkin getting aboard the car now. Scott's twin brother. He's got to carry the family honours now in that car. And we were talking about this in qualifying. The number 6 car is slightly less sophisticated than the number 1. It's got a normal H pattern gearbox rather than the sequential one, and different suspension. They seem to be preferring the suspension, the Olin suspension that's on the number 1.
Just to work it out. As the 90 car comes in for
a third
stop. Now, is this going to be another issue? They're getting the refueling kits out now, so it looks like this is a scheduled stop this time.
Wow.
There's the 195 car, the Sam Dennis and Ash Royal car that was leading Class C. They're completing their second pit stop. They seem to put it there a little while now, don't they? They should be back out on their way very soon, one would think.
Just think, for this number 90 car, I mean, reliability was its Achilles heel last year, wasn't it? It was very fast, and it seems like it's struck once again, because they've had podium contending pace all day, but that extra trip to the pits might have just cost them dearly.
Yeah, possibly so. So it looks like they're getting ready to push the 195 car out just as soon as, they've had the signal, 3 minutes is up.
Yep.
And we can get the car back into this. I was just about to muse, if you're Ryan Parkin, and you're going to hopefully, bring the car home with a successful result, and you're clearly going to beat your brother, your twin brother, because he's retired, but you're also the co-director of Darkside Development. Do you feel happy that you've sort of had a good result, or do you feel sad for your brother that he's not had such a good result? And then you think, it's championship points, isn't it?
Well, yes, that is true. I'd be aware that my rival has had an issue, but I don't know, I kind of also just acknowledge the performance differences between the 2 cars.
Yes, absolutely.
Quite a hefty update from Tom in the pit lane, who reports that there are still drops of rain in the pit lane. Doesn't seem to be causing too much trouble out on the track at the moment, but also reports that the number 25 car, Darren Ball's Cupra, which was running inside the top 10 if memory serves me correctly, but that car has had to retire because something has punctured the radiator and it's lost water pressure as a result. So some bit of debris or maybe a bit of gravel or something, some sort of detritus that's been brought onto the track and into the path of that number 25 car has caused Darren Ball to retire from the race. Great shame for him.
Yeah, absolutely right. Oh, an issue! Michael Downey and Johnny Hayes and Paul Cipriani seem to have fallen over one another at the complex there. Michael Downey in the orange box is still stranded on the grass there. Hayes and Subiani, BMW, that's just got going again, and so too now is the number 76 car of Downey as well. So, other than a bit of mud on the track, the circuit now clear again, but that's unusual to see something like that happen in the Tegiwa Club Enduro Championship. Whether there was any contact or not, I suspect there might have been a little bit. I'm not quite sure.
Well, that's Michael Downey's day going from bad to worse, because he was already plumb last of the runners we still had, has now had contact with the Subiani car and coming into pit lane as well. That is probably for its second stop. It might just get that one out of the way now. So we still have the Audi into pit lane, by the way, but it has fallen into third position, which means that Kevin Clark is back in the lead of the race.
It does feel like a long stop for Dylan Brickton.
It feels like a very long stop now,
Yeah.
doesn't it? But my sense of time might not be too fantastic, because I also thought that the Mazda pit stop was fine earlier as well. But yeah, hopefully it's not issues on both Darkside development cars. That would be quite a disappointment. Jonathan Packer has also emerged in fourth position overall now, and is on the back of the Schultz-Hampson BMW M2 number 69 car for potentially a spot on the overall podium.
Yeah.
And lapping very similarly at the moment.
There's Kevin Clark on screen now in the number 33 car, so he is the leader at the moment. Let's just give a quick run down on the order. I'll see how many stops people have made. 33 Kevin Clark leads, he's made one stop. 22 Luke and Paul Browers are second, having made one stop. Third 69 Andy Schultz, Matthew Hampson, they've made one stop. Fourth is number 51 Jonathan Packer, leads Class B, one stop. Fifth 82 Ben Williams and Alan Iyengar, one stop. Sixth number 78 Matthew Stockford, Alan James, that's one stop. Seventh number 6 still in the pit lane, I think.
Yeah.
Dylan Brickton and Ryan Parkin, as they have been for a long time now, so maybe neither of the Darkside development cars get a finish, but they are there, one stop so far. 8th, number 4, Joel Oswick, James Collins, they've made two stops, the first of the two stoppers. 9th, number 10 in the pits at the moment, the Rob Fennick, Andrew Shepherd car, that's two stops. And then next up, completing the top 10, is the 43 car of Steve Cheetham and Wayne Schofield, second in Class B as things stand. But still, pit stops to shake out in the remaining 39 minutes before the pit window closes.
Yes, but it does look like we have some sort of sense of order now, don't we?
Yeah, the Hayes and Subiani car who we saw off the circuit a few moments ago, that is the Class C leading car, albeit they've only made one stop. The strivers have made two stops, so I suspect they will fall back. Seth Dennis and Ashmore before the track.
Yeah, they're only 6 seconds behind that car, having made their second stop. So, yeah, it would suggest that they are probably going to jump them at some point. And finally, the Dylan Brickton and Ryan Parker car has emerged back onto the racetrack.
Yeah, the practice are there to hear a little more from Tom and Team Hampton. Stop.
Yeah, and it's come out, well, it's at best 9th, 10th. It's continuing to drop down the order.
And the stop to make things.
Yeah, like that, yeah, it does seem like they were in there for a very, very, very long time and not emerging in the position that we expected them to. So, yeah, it's very much Kevin Clark's lead at the moment. This is the number 10 Speedtech BMW M2. It's coming for a second stop at the 76 Downey car that's coming after it had that bit of contact down at the complex. Yeah, looks good. Jonathan Packer, his leading Class B is very, very substantial. Possibly even nearly 2 laps ahead of the Cheetham Schofield box, number 43. And yes, we expect the Ashmore and Sam Dennis cars to be taking Class C when our current Class C leader. Now 6 coming back into the pits to do its second stop.
Either that or say, hang on, the problem that I've got at that first pit stop, I just need to check it over again. But they'll certainly probably try and make this into their second mandatory stop, but it's not looking particularly good for Darkside developments today.
No, it isn't. And yes, they're just getting the update from Tom downstairs as well. Hopefully we'll be able to find out if there were any issues on that car.
So I'm just down in the pit lane having a look at the Darkside Developments car, this number 6. It looks fairly terminal at the moment, but yeah, in fact, I've just had the old cutthroat symbol from the signal from one of the drivers who's, yeah, it looks pretty terminal here. I was told that it was overheating issues that they were having. They went back to try and manage the issue. They were trying to manage the overheating issue. Went back out, did a lap. It was still, the temperature was still going up, and he was told to manage it with pace and clean air and things like that, but it just wasn't working out, so they brought it back in. They're going to try and cool it down. Maybe they'll go back out, but unlikely at the moment.